Very good morning, Zimbabwe, and welcome to Africa and Beyond Television Network. We continue to take a look on very important matters in the nation Zimbabwe. And this is 1 July, the day Vice President Joshua Kabuko Nkomo passed away. And in the 80s, he gave a very important prophecy, which we need to take a look upon right now, because what he said then is existing as we speak right away, and it is happening. So it's very important for us as the people to take a look onto what our national leaders said, so that we reflect to where we are going and understand what needs to be done.
Abantu beMashonaland, the people in Mashonaland are in great fear. When you talk to them, they will look around to see who is there. Because they know there is a chairman, there is a commissar, there is a youth, and there is a youth brigade. All these groups who want to see who they are talking to and why. What is this? To see who they are talking to and why in an independent Zimbabwe with a constitution that enshrines the right to talk to anybody, to move with anybody, as long as you are within the law. What is it all about? And you people, you have suffered. You have seen death. You have seen all sorts of things. But you have not seen yet what is happening in that part of Zimbabwe, where people are subjected to what they call village committees. You cannot go to an area without going to report it to a village committee chairman, brought in by a youth chairman. After you get there, you get your little pass, which you are supposed to get before you leave Bulawayo or you leave Harare. You present it to the commissar, who takes it to the secretary to scrutinize and goes to the chairman for a stamp. How? What country is this one? What country is this one? When we fought against these things, now it is these things that we, when we rule, subject our people to. This is a tragedy of tragedies. This must end, and end by this election. See that you return men of quality, men of understanding, men of respect, men of dignity, who will keep the dignity of your people and of your country. We have seen things. We have seen things. And the people who have assisted us fighting are amazed. They cannot understand what's gone wrong in Zimbabwe. Why have they gone mad? Killing each other. Killing each other. There are those that are killed, and there are those that kill. We're not killing each other. There are killers. And some of us are recipients of killing. And people are told lies, political lies, that they are dissidents belonging to ZAPU. I challenge these men who say that. I said, let us form a parliamentary committee that will go around the country to discover who these dissidents were, who succors them, who gives them Father Zimbabwe badges. They refused because they know what that committee will discover, that these young men are being sent by a party, a ruling party, trying to force people to join ZANU PF. This has rebounced. They know it. This is why they cannot have a meeting of this size without these army elements who are not army. Carry them around in pumas to go to meetings. Now they are trying to call meetings without using pumas, and nothing happens. Abantu bahlalele. There's one. Now let us look at resettlement. Resettlement. The law for agricultural development, that is grand. Selizibonile ezabamwe ukuthi.
So this is the issue which was happening in the 80s. This is Joshua Nkomo. In the 1980s, he was addressing his supporters. The issue has been there. Joshua Nkomo understood what was happening. He understood that the Shona people were under siege from Robert Mugabe and his left-hand man, Emmerson Mnangagwa, who is now the leader of Zimbabwe as we speak right now, who got to that position by hook and crook. This issue is still happening as we speak right now because several committees are being set up in the villages and everywhere, where ZANU PF is continuously abusing the people of the Republic of Zimbabwe unchallenged. It's happening in areas like Mwenezi. Let me give you a certain example of old Adalas who are rounding up people in the areas of Mwenezi and still using the same tactic which Joshua Nkomo spoke about in the 1980s. But they are being challenged right now because we are not going to let it happen unchallenged. They are being challenged as we speak in Mwenezi.
Saka yeye munhu muchamuteerera nokuti kana mamuteerera zvazvinorande zvokuti simba retichamusira pana harisi rake ngere musangano wezanu PF because takatoita mamitingi tikapedza tikavhunzana zvataivhunzana navakuru ivavo vakazvigamuchira vakatiudza kuti kubva sure tichibva kuhondo ndo rariri basa redu saka haritihlisi saka zvino nguva ino kana taakuzviita musafunga kuti saka vakuru ava vahopinda mumapolitics nenzira idzi ndo zvazvagara zviri kubva shure saka hama dzangu ngatite chinhu chakanaka chakarongeka takabatana tiri vanhu vemusangano wezanu PF muona sekuti nguva ino regai ndiri pamusoro kuti pano taita zvamafoni handiti.
So this man is now saying panotisaita zvemafoni handiti. It's a matter yekuti they don't want to be exposed and they are doing this to annihilate the people of Zimbabwe. This is 44 years after independence and they are still talking about war. They are still talking about the liberation struggle. So we are going to do A, B, C, D. And they are instructing people not to do Zemafoni because they are afraid. We need to take ZANU PF head on in our rural areas, in our communities. We need to take ZANU PF head on and expose them. This is probably an old man. An old man who is clueless and does not know what needs to be done at this point in time. A man who must be taken care of by his grandchildren. But he is supporting ZANU PF and its evil policies. This is what Joshua Nkomo spoke about in the 80s. It is still existing in 2024. What do? We cannot continue to cry without solutions. Let's go into those areas where ZANU PF is terrorizing our people, stand our ground. This is what we need to do. This is the solution. Let us go in those areas and stand our ground. We are challenging them. We are challenging them. And let me play something from a comrade from Mwenezi so that you understand the problem we are having.
My champion. Munoona maproblem etinawo vanhu vedu vanohla kuchallenge amameetings ezanu PF anoitwa kumasabhuku. Isu taendapo tina Owen nemukomana anonzi Bevan. Tichingori 3 chete tiri vamubhuku iroro. Hapana chaitiwa musangano wedu watozongova musangano unonzi ndiwe development zvimwe zvokutaurwa ndezvezano nepadivi zvisina kana musoro. Zvakanetswa vanhu kwana Rutavo kwese nekwana Matande kunoga hazvina kuitwa. because hatiripo isu. Saka imimi machampions edu mune problem yekuti hamuendi kumisangano iyoyo ende we munozvivanza munozviviga mekuti munozvivigirei svika utaura kuti nezita wewo pano vakati ibva kuti handini ndepasabhuku wangu zvobva zvaitwa because mukarega vanhu vachivhundudzirwa ka muri kutoregerera vanhu mufana kusapota vanhu. You have to support our people kuti vasangovhundudzirwa pese pese.
So this is it. This is what we are embarking on, to make sure that we confront ZANU PF in the areas they think that these are their territories. We have to be there with our own people, to stand with our own people, to tell the truth, to say, we must challenge it. We have seen how challenging ZANU PF works. This is the reason why they are running scared in rural areas and they are trying to mobilize Zechimurenga, Vachimba, Hondo. But we have to get to a point where we tell them it will not happen under our watch. This is the reason why they will threaten you. We will do Zemaphone. Because it is our right. So, Team Zimbabwe, we have to stand and make sure that we challenge people. We have to stand and make sure that we challenge these evil people. They cannot use Masabuku to call meetings and they continue to threaten people during those meetings. They can't. It's time for the people of Zimbabwe to challenge whatever ZANU PF is doing and make sure that we work. So I'm expecting champions across Zimbabwe. Let us continue to invade the rural areas. This is the moment to invade ZANU PF strongholds. We cannot have one strategy. Let those in Harare strategize about protests. And let those in the rural areas strategize about invading rural areas so that they become hotbeds of the opposition. This is where the revolution of the opposition should start, from the rural areas. We must make sure that we create a ground where ZANU PF cannot intimidate people further, where ZANU PF feels that intimidating people is dangerous in the rural areas. This is what we want to create. It's not done by violence. It's done by mobilizing people, showing the people that we are the alternative, showing the people that we can do better than ZANU PF. This is what we need to do in the rural areas. And this is what is going to bring transformation in the rural areas. It's time for us to fight. It's time for us to challenge ZANU PF. And we can only challenge ZANU PF when we are delivering in the rural areas. Instead of donating monies to somebody who wants to go to Sadiq, foolish things there, which will never bring anything to Zimbabwe, let us make sure that we unite together and donate towards projects which are going to transform the people. If somebody comes up with a strategic project which can be implemented in rural areas, let us support that person. Let us support them. As we speak, we are building incubators because we believe that we need to make sure that we give those incubators to villagers. This is something we have embarked on. We did the training, we did the tests, and it's working. And we are now in the process of manufacturing incubators so that we donate them to groupings of people to say, guys, here is the incubator, start your own chicken project. These are the issues we are now getting into. We are getting to a point where we are putting together young people. We help them run projects. We run them together, advising them, making sure that we fight diseases together, making sure that we close all loopholes together, and they succeed and progress in terms of projects. This is what is bringing ZANU PF down. We need to get to a point where we donate towards the installation of solar systems. Yes, personally, I'm willing to run those projects, put my money into making sure that we install solar systems in rural areas. As the opposition, if we can do that together, those are the kind of fundraisings we need to say, how many solars do we need for this board to run properly? We agree that maybe we need 10 solar panels, 500 watts each. If we agree that, What about the pump? We agree on the pump. How much is a solar panel? We take the quotations. We send the quotations to say the quotations for the solar panels are this and that. The quotations for steel to weld for the stands are this and that. The quotation for the pump and so forth. For cement to build tanks. Then we go onto the ground. Everybody seeing, doing it, everything on video. We show it to the world to say, guys, this is what we are doing. We commission a solar-powered borehole in a rural community. We do it to see if ZANU PF is going to remove it. Once they remove it, we have created enmity between them and ZANU PF. These people will never, ever in their lifetime vote again for ZANU PF. Because vanenge vaona utororo we-ZANU PF. Isusu because tinenge tagona kuchallenja chinu ichocho, tata chinu chinobatika, we become the darlings of the people in those areas. Which means, shoko iroro rinotekeshera munzvimbo dzese kuti kwakazouya vakomana ve-development. Let us work with them. These are the initiatives we need to fund together. I'm appealing to everybody who is funding these nonsense things to say, guys, hold your funds. Let us fund projects which are tangible. Let us go and fund a school block. That is a very, very beautiful initiative. Yes, we identify people on the ground. We fund them to build a school block. This is a school block rakava opposition. And the message will go all over in those areas. This is what we call change. This is the direction we need to take. We are getting to a point where we are going onto the ground to work, to develop, and to show ZANU PF people that we are capable. And we are going to make sure that we fulfill the dreams of Joshua Nkomo. This is 1 July. We are commemorating the life and sacrifice of Dr. Vice President Joshua Nkomo. And we will continue to fight up until total emancipation of the people of Zimbabwe is realized.